Okay, we are back. Let me know if you can hear me because we had a little technical difficulty. Apparently, the committee wanted to shut me down because I'm getting ready to tell you why and how the committee just set college football back at least 10 years with this decision to put Alabama in the playoff. I don't care if you're an Alabama fan. I don't care what team fan you are. You should be absolutely disgusted. You should be absolutely disgusted by what the College Football Playoff Committee did. I'm going to explain to you why. Because if you are a college football fan, the committee set a precedent. Because, first of all, aside from not winning a conference championship that Alabama did not do, here is where they've set college football back 10 years. Is because you will never, ever see schedules get better until the committee starts punishing teams that don't win their conference and don't play good non-conference games. I mean, how on earth can you justify? I mean, because as a fan, even if you're a fan of Alabama, you cannot be in favor of seeing Mercer, Colorado State, and Colorado State and Fresno State on your schedule. You cannot be a fan of that. I mean, who wants to show up to the stadium to go watch those games? Nobody. And then the SEC has also, listen, man, I understand that they scheduled Florida State. However, the fact is that that the SEC has continued its manipulation of this system. Let me break it down for you if you do not understand. Because what happens is this, is that you have the ACC and the SEC, which play 8 conference games. And they play, and the Pac-12, the Big Ten, and the Big 12 all play 9 conference games. And how that works out is that is additional losses that the Pac-12, that the SEC does not have to take. This is additional losses that they will not take because of the 8 conference games. There are 63 losses to go around for the other conferences and only 56 for the SEC. And what you're going to tell me is, oh, well, the SEC gauntlet is tough. No, it's not tough when you only play 8 conference games. When you then turn around and schedule 2 non-Power 5 games, an FCS game, and then 1 good game. I mean, when on earth are fans going to get upset about this? When are fans going to demand better games? Because you are not going to get good non-conference matchups until you make people schedule better. And the committee has to punish these teams who don't do that. They have to. Otherwise, you're not going to get any better. And there is no chaos when, like imagine if Alabama actually did what other teams do. Because people are going to point to me, oh, every team in the country schedules like that. No, they don't. No, they don't. Because when you look at, there are multiple teams in the country, I'm going to name them, that schedule more than 1 Power 5 game on their schedule. They do. So your favorite team can do it too. However, they won't because they are not punished. There are no repercussions for doing what they are doing. I mean, I am absolutely outraged at this because it makes no sense for us, the fans. You look at Notre Dame, Notre Dame, they're an independent. They don't play in the FCS schools, period. You look at, you have Clemson. Clemson has played 2 Power 5 games. I mean, how this is not outrageous. This is not normal. I mean, at what point in time are you guys, the fans, going to start demanding better? You guys, make sure you swipe up, share the feed, because we're going in on this schedule and how the committee has actually screwed college football. They have set it back, and you guys are absolutely okay with this, which is a problem for me. Who did I want in the top 4? You could have put USC. You could have put Ohio State. I, on no circumstances, would have argued with you about either one of those things, but I hate the precedent that was set today. This is something that will not be able to be recovered from for the longest. Like the schedules aren't fair, the schedules aren't balanced, and that creates a manipulation. So let me break this down for you, all you fans. So the SEC plays 8 conference games. And when you play 8 conference games instead of 9 conference games, what that creates is it creates an imbalance. And then the SEC schedules November cupcakes. So you have the November cupcakes before the last week of the season, or somewhere between the last 2 weeks of the season. And the other teams are playing conference games still. And they lose, and the SEC, they continue to rise in the rankings simply not because they played anybody, but because they did not lose. And when you rise in the rankings because you did not lose, it creates higher matchups. You got 3 versus 2, 5 versus 8, because previously the Pac-12 or the Big 10 or the Big 12 played a big matchup between those teams. So this is a manipulation, and you guys keep falling for it. Like, I'm trying to let the cat out of the bag, but you guys won't demand better. Like, why won't you demand better in this situation if you are a college football fan? Like, you see it. Like, you literally see these teams scheduling bad non-conference games. And you're okay with it. And then the committee comes in and says, "Oh, well, they're one of the best teams." No, like, you should be punished for this, because the whole point of the committee is to get better schedules, to get the 4 best teams, to make college football greater. And in reality, they've made it worse. Because if you are Wisconsin, why on earth would you schedule better non-conference games? If you're Alabama, why would you schedule better non-conference games? You wouldn't. All you have to do is go undefeated and then win your conference championship game and you're in. Yeah. But now they've proven that if you take Alabama's resume and you put it on any other team in the country, they would not be in the playoff. However, their name is Alabama, and people wanted them in the playoff. That's why. You guys have to quit falling for it. Demand better. Even if you're an Alabama fan, you have to stand up and say, you know what? We want better out of this. We want 9 conference games, or we need a mandatory of 2 Power 5 teams scheduled non-conference. It's absolutely, it's almost like criminal at this point in time what's going on. And the fact that you guys keep falling for it and believing this is awful. Is awful. And they won't change anything in the 18 playoff either. You'll have 3 SEC teams in. That's what you'll have, because they will not schedule better. And let me break this down for you. You guys swipe up, share the feed, because I'm getting ready to give crucial information right here that other people don't want you to know. This is the stuff that that the networks, this is the stuff that everybody does not want you to know, that I'm getting ready to give you right now. Is that when you look at the amount of, here is the big difference between playing 8 conference games and 9 conference games. So the SEC has 14 teams. So that is 56. Let me explain this. This is 56 total losses in the entire conference by the whole entire league. 56 losses that are spread out between 1 through 14. Okay? Same thing with the ACC. And then when you go and schedule 3 non-Power 5 teams, and one of them being an FCS team, you get 3 free wins. You look at the Pac-12, the Big 10. When you look at the Big 10, 14 teams, 63 total losses in the conference that have to happen. That have to happen. Versus the 56 in the SEC. That's 7 more losses that are spread out throughout the conference simply because of playing 9 conference games. That means that teams in the Big Ten are going to have more losses than teams in the SEC. That is an actual fact. So that's why when you see SEC teams, you see them not having as many losses because the schedule is rigged that way, and you guys keep falling for it. I mean, look at the teams that have actually scheduled quality non-conference opponents. And when I say quality non-conference, I mean more than one. If you schedule more than one Power 5 team, then you're good with me. These teams, Clemson, Notre Dame, USC, it's been done. So your team can do it too. Name one team that's won more championships than the SEC. This is the reason why, is because the SEC continually gets in the championship because of the way they are manipulating the system. And either the Pac-12, the Big Ten, or the Big 12 is going to either have to give in to this nonsense, or they're going to have to just say, you know what, we're content with the way that things are going. We're content with the way that things are going, because it's completely and utterly unfair to people who are actually competing. It is unfair to people who are competing. The committee set college football back 10 years with their decision today. You should demand better games. And if you're not demanding better games, you, my friend, are not a real college football fan. Because how many times are you sick and tired of sitting on the couch on Saturdays and seeing bad matchups and seeing not as many good games? Seeing your favorite team play FCS teams and non-Power 5 teams. And then we get these debates about freaking resume. Under no circumstances should Alabama be scheduling three of their 4 non-conference games against Colorado State, Fresno State, and Mercer. Should not be. Under no circumstances. And then they didn't win the conference championship. Had they won the conference championship, you would not be hearing an argument with me one single solitary second. But the fact that they put a non-conference champion in, and they played a bad schedule and got dominated in their last 2 games, you set college football back. You absolutely set college football back. And there is, I mean, this is, I don't want to overstate this. However, this is irreparable damage. This is irreparable damage to the college football system. It just is. You got Florida State, who plays 2 non-Power 5 teams. You got Florida, who did it. You have Clemson. You have USC. You have Notre Dame. There are like 6 or 7 teams that did that this year. I mean, and I didn't like what happened with Ohio State last year either. Same thing, except for they at least had 3 or 4 top 10 wins. I mean, damn. I mean, at what point in time are we going to start demanding better? And this is an Alabama screw job, because Alabama, if you change the name on the front of Alabama's uniform or their resume or whatever it is, we would not be having this discussion if their name said South Carolina, or if their name said Colorado, or if their name said USC even, or anybody but Alabama. You would not be giving them the benefit of the doubt. The committee got it right with Bama. OSU got beat by 31 by Iowa. Urban Cryer can suck it. Okay. At what point in time are you going to lose your fandom and really for your team and be a fan of college football? You're happy your team got in, but don't you want to see your team play better games? I mean, this is the truth. Alabama's the best. Who got more championships? Are we talking about this year, or are we talking about overall? Because why is it out of the realm of possible? Why is it so hard for people to believe that a Nick Saban team who got dominated their last 2 games and didn't play a good schedule is not one of the 4 best teams. I mean, damn, like at what point in time are we going to start like using rational knowledge with this? When you look at the SEC manipulating this schedule, I mean, is anybody going to stand up and see it? Because the networks don't want you to see it. Sorry to say it. Something looks funny. Something looks funny because there is no demand for this to change. And if you are the SEC, why would you change? You get 2 teams in the playoff. You get 1 team in the playoff every single year because this is the way you've rigged the system. The system has been rigged, and you guys keep falling for it. And I'm not gonna be the one who keeps falling for it. I'm not gonna fall for the November cupcakes. I'm not gonna fall for the while other teams in their conference lose, because it is unfair. This is a screw job, and you will never see anything change. You won't see anything change in college football until you, the fans, demand better. And finishing up with the rankings. The rankings were just outrageous to beginning and end with. So Wisconsin obviously played a close game against Ohio State. But what that says to me is that the committee would have considered putting Wisconsin in. I mean, still putting Alabama in had Wisconsin won the national championship. I'm sorry, had Wisconsin won the SEC championship. And then this manipulation is even worse because you have USC who finished behind Auburn. USC finished behind Auburn, who lost 3 games. I mean, come on, man. It's absolutely outrageous. The committee failed you. The committee completely failed you on every single level. And this is a manipulation. I mean, and the only logical solution to this is an 8-team playoff. An 8-team playoff consisting of 5 Power 5 conference champions. So if you win your conference, you're automatically in. The highest ranked FCS team, non-Power 5 FBS team, which this year would be Central Florida, and then 2 at-large bids. That's how you set up the playoff. And then you don't end up with this screw job. Because, I mean, you can't factor in health. They're projecting, Alabama will be healthy in a few weeks. Who the hell cares? What did they do on paper? Who did they beat? Did they win their conference? All of that. I was done with the BCS because they screwed people. I'm done with the College Football Playoff Committee until they get up and stand up and make a stand and demand college football team schedule better. And they did not do that. They did not do that at all. I am irate with this decision. You should be irate with this decision. And if USC can play 11 Power 5 teams and Western Michigan, who won 13 games last year, so can Alabama. If Clemson can play Auburn and South Carolina on their schedule, so can Ohio State, so can Georgia, so can Alabama, so can Wisconsin, so can everybody else. So stop making excuses for these bad schedules, and the committee just reinforced this SEC manipulation. The ACC can do the same thing as well, so it's not just the SEC. The ACC can get in on this screw job as well. I mean, I'm tired and I'm fed up, and I hope you guys are too. I will be writing an article about this. Hope you guys read it. I will tweet it out. I'll send it out to you guys. Hope you guys enjoy it. Hope you enjoy your Sunday. Hope you enjoy your weekend, because